All righty.
All right, look at here. We coming to you live from the driver's seat
And the back seat.
and the passenger seat.
And the
over there
passenger
with
seat.
us. We're riding down the road in this pickup truck, headed to Ringling, Oklahoma, home of the Mud Creek Baying by Mr. Rusty Foreshore from Ashore.
For sure.
He is the man. Came out here last year. Rusty put on a bay, and it was a good time. It was scalding ass hot. Had good hogs. The pen was in good shape. Everything was good. We had a good time, and it was me and Nate, Rodney, and Kelly. And this year we got Rodney couldn't make it with us. He actually had to work, and I think he's done took off like 365,000 sick days that he didn't have. But anyway, much love to my man. I miss him. Wish he was here with us so he could snore me to sleep.
For sure.
But we got the real deal, Mr. Carter Schultz, with us today from the Boars N Broads crew. I think Ryan had to do some real work too, didn't he?
Yeah, Ryan had to work. He
Man, them responsible cats.
I know he was doing some eating while
I
ago.
mean, he calls me from the fire department. He's sitting in a recliner
Putting it
watching
in.
TV. I'm like, man, you really are working hard, bud.
You better watch it. He's married, got the kids.
That joker, he
They gonna get fat.
He works plenty hard, plenty of nights out there, and
Yeah, he's always grinding.
oh yeah.
Whether it's that or not, he's always doing something.
Yeah, we
I think
caught
that
a
too.
we caught a good boar hog yesterday morning before we come out here.
Yeah, I seen that. Like I said, and I told Nate, I told you earlier, I was like, man, we should have went throw the little bait out and picked us one on the way.
I guarantee you, with what we got in the back, with this woods class that they got going on up here, that we could find and catch something. We could get something stretched out.
I guarantee you, and it, it'd be fun, that's for sure.
I mean, it's a pretty awesome thing that he's doing with the woods exclusive class. I mean, there's a lot of places that they have options on woods dogs and things like that, but I think it's a really good thing that he's got a woods exclusive class, and it's not overwhelmingly expensive. It's $30 a run, and you can bring a dog to the pen and you don't feel like you're getting killed. If the dog doesn't go in there and perform, and nobody's going to judge you. Everybody, people might laugh.
Yeah, they're gonna give you a hard time.
Yeah. There's gonna be a few people that get mad and throw their hat and stomp away.
From the woods hunters' perspective. Now, if it for the guys who run pro dogs all the time, so what? You're going to spend money. You will not win anything if you don't put them in.
Right.
And I still ain't going to win shit myself. But at the same time,
Dogs suck.
Me neither.
when you can take $200 and you can run your dog, half a dozen times,
Yes, sir.
or half a dozen dogs, it's fun. It's a fun time. I talked to Rusty a few weeks ago about the whole woods thing, and we got to talking about it, and I told him, I said, man, I think that'd be just
Oh, I mean, I've had
awesome,
a dozen people that I don't know personally, but they've reached out to me and been like, "Hey, man, well, I'm thinking about coming out. What's the deal with these bayings and stuff?" And I'm like, "Man, just like it's not hard, it's not complex. You'll pick it up pretty quick." And I just send them the rules and whatnot, and they're like, "Oh, that seems simple enough." And I was like, "Look, nobody's gonna judge you.
No.
Everybody's gonna be there and willing to help you. And honestly, after you watch about 5 runs, you'll have a pretty good idea of what's going on."
Yeah, if you got any gumption about yourself at all. One thing I want to say too, though, on the woods class deal is this goes back and kind of stems from the old school stuff where they used to have a woods class and woods dog event stuff.
Used to, it was just all woods dogs.
Yeah, and then Uncle Pat and Uncle Jake down there, they started doing the sportsman class at Uncle Earl's, and that has drawn a good crowd, which is kind of similar. It's pretty much what we're doing here, or what he's doing here, but it's going to be just a class instead of the option and them all intermingled.
Right.
I think we're just going to put them out there and run them, you know, so you can watch all these dogs, the same caliber dogs compete against each other.
Comparable dogs.
Yes.
You know? You're not running against pro dogs. And there might, you know, somebody's going to have a dog here that is a pro level dog.
It's going to be an eye opener.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, and you know, there's going to be people come up to him and say, how much you want for that dog? You know?
Exactly.
And there's going to be a few people that, like I said, are going to get mad and throw their hat and stomp away because the dog's never been in a pen.
Right.
Or he's never seen that many people before, and he's just not jiving with it.
Yep. Well, that goes to the stuff that we've talked about in the past. You know, man's ego is the heavy thing for a dog.
100%.
And, you know, there's a bunch of dog men that I know, and they know what I'm talking about, you know.
Right.
And actually, I learned a lot of that from those guys because, like I said, when I grow up, I want to be a dog man. These guys have a good perspective on it, and they don't expect no more out of that dog than what it's going to do.
Right.
Then once you turn the dog loose,
Right.
that
dog's going to do
it.
what that dog's going to do.
In that pen,
It's
especially.
not a robot. And he screws his mama.
I've known that firsthand. The first time I ever took him to Earl's, the second time he was ever in a pen, he made a 9.8 and ended up tying for second in the Woods option in one dog. The last time I took him to Earl's, y'all saw him. He barked twice and come back to the gate. And you know, that would have been a really easy moment for me to lose my cool and act like a turd and throw a fit.
Yeah.
But I mean, the dog's not a pen dog. He's a Woods dog, and you know,
what the hell am I doing?
yeah,
Where you got
you know,
it?
he's already confined. Why do I need to pay him? But
well, I mean, that's what we teach our dogs. You know, it's like, hey,
leave him alone.
Yeah, you don't mess with him. He's a caught hog.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that, you know, like I said, they start expecting something totally different.
And Carter, you break your dogs to not mess with a hog once it's tied.
Yeah, no, so Bob Swayze is a little different because I hadn't got a good enough handle on him yet.
Bob.
Old Bob Swayze, son of Goose, and he's a Woods dog.
Goose youngster.
Eat your heart out.
That Goose. But no, we expect our dogs to be able to determine whether or not the hog's been apprehended, whether or not we kill the hog or tie the hog. I don't expect them, if there's a hog laying on the ground, I don't want dogs sitting there chewing on it, and I want them to get out and go hunt. And you know, if I put them in a dog box beside a live boar that we have tied, I don't want them breaking their teeth off trying to get to the hog and everything like that. And a lot of people take it the wrong way. I don't want a dog that's gonna give up until I got to get a brake stick out or something. It's
that's that ego thing.
Yeah, it's that ego thing.
Around that ego.
And it's, you know, it's one of those things. I think we get so lost in our own perspective and our own motives and things like that we don't look at it from the correct perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
I did that because I want my dogs to relay and go hunt, and it just kind of transitioned into, you know, I want to be able to put my dogs right beside a live hog, and I don't want them breaking their teeth out. Like
No, go ahead.
It's one of those things where at that point I'm looking out for the dog.
Yes,
you know,
when you treat a dog, when you teach a dog to do that, and then you bring it out here to this pen,
right,
and he goes in there and he bays the hog, you know, that's the handle.
Right.
You know, that's saying, hey, I got a handle on this dog. He knows when to do it and when not to do it.
Right.
Simply through me or myself or whatever. And like you said, there's a lot of guys that say, you know, I want a dog that just does it for itself.
Right.
Hey, that's cool. But if you don't have a handle on it, yes, you're a team.
Well, I mean, I've been blessed to hunt with a ton of people, and a lot of times, and I'm not talking bad about rough dogs. I love rough dogs. Y'all know I love rough dogs.
Pigs.
You can't get them off the hogs, and we busted a group of hogs, and those hogs at that time, and you know,
could have picked hog after hog
walk,
after hog.
You walk 500 yards and you cut the dogs loose, and they turn around and go back to the tied hog.
No,
at that point, you're costing yourself the opportunity.
Oh, yes.
You're costing your dogs the opportunity to catch more hogs.
We in Oklahoma, boys.
Welcome to Oklahoma.
We out here.
But my question was going to be, do you think having that style of handle, of being able to have a hog to find it and not mess with it, do you think that might be what is affecting Champ, or do you think he's just being a dumb dickhead that day?
You know, I tell you, I think he is too smart for his own good. I think if he was dumber, he would be probably a pro level dog in the bay pen. But y'all saw him when we were, I think it was October of last year, when I bait him 5 times in one day.
Yeah.
And had good runs, you know, 9.5, 9.5s to 9.7s or whatnot. But when that hog went over by the gate, he quit.
Yep.
He stopped baying it because he knew that hog's going to walk through there. I'm not going to be able to catch it.
Yep.
And, you know, he's too smart for his own good. So then the next time I put him in a pen was at Earl's, and he goes in there and barks twice and comes back because, you know, a dog, the more you put a dog in a situation, and this applies to everything, the more you put a dog in a situation, the more he's going to learn about that situation.
Yeah.
You know, the first time you take a dog to a bay pen and you take him off the lead and you walk him up there to the pen and he sees all those people and whatnot, and he hears all the other dogs barking and everything, he might be going a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But if he'll do it, the next time you unclip him, he's ready. You know, he's pulling you to get in that pen. He's like, I know that hog's coming out, and I know I'm going to get to work. You know, and I think that's something, you know, a lot of people overlook, is that the more you put a dog in a certain situation, and you know, it was hard. It's hard to break a dog from messing with a tied hog, a hog that's still alive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy who taught me most of the stuff that I know, Clay Austin, he gave, you know, I was gifted some dogs when he got out of it, and I wound up with a little bird dog named Mocha. Phenomenal little dog. I mean, she's a great puppy trainer. She bathe the hair off of a hog. She get rough, whatever. But you could load her on the back of that truck in the box with a pig. She wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, no,
I've got
pictures. I've got pictures of, you know, Champ and Shrimp, his brother.
But when you don't open that box, though, they know it's time. It's business.
Right. And you know, it's not that they're quitting a hog that they've got bayed in the woods. You can leave them out there for an indefinite amount of time, and they're never going to leave that hog bayed.
Yep. And the woods, the whole thing in the woods it's a totally different bay.
Right.
We took that dog Matt to Hickory Crossing. Man, that son of a gun, like he was jammed out. He was baying, but it was not like he done at Uncle Earl's in sportsman's class. I mean, he bayed 9.9.
Right.
And like was jamming down there. I mean, because everybody was like, "What in the world?"
Yeah.
And then you carried him down there because all the trees were there. Right. He felt like he was in the woods.
He was looking for other hogs.
Yeah, he was checking looking around. He was checking. He went over there, was drinking out of the creek. They got time to. It's a totally different style of baying as well. So if you got a really good woods dog, and that son of a gun's got a lot of concentration and doesn't move a whole lot in the woods, you might ought to bring him to the pen.
Well, the funny thing is before Earl's last year, I had about a 5-minute video where I just sat back and videoed Champ and Girl baying that hog. And he didn't have a single lookout on that hog for the whole video. Hit some pretty sweet moves to not have a lookout. And then I bring him to Earl's and he does that. And I can't be mad at him. Like, I don't, it doesn't bother me, you know.
No,
it's just one of those things where, you know, he's either learned or he doesn't want to do it anymore, and I'm not going to force him to do something that he ain't going to do.
Well, there's something that happened, you know, and you know, and not to discourage anybody from bringing their woods dogs, because, like I said, that's what we're to grow the sport in the right direction. I feel, and it's just my dumbass opinion, is we do need woods hunters.
Oh,
because they understand the dogs, the hogs, and the methods. and they understand about, you know, you don't need to advertise certain things.
Right.
You don't need to post certain types of videos and stuff. And so it's like, you know, they would be the ones that I feel like would be more apt to take to it better.
And I mean, in Downsville in the 2-Dog World Cup, we had 20 people there with us, and all of those guys were woods hunters.
Yeah, they never ran in a pen.
And they've never ran in a pen. And, you know, they were kind of, you know, asking us questions, picking our brains. And I was like, man, I'm telling you, like, when you get up there and you get to watch these pro dogs, you will see a difference in the way that they bay versus a non-pro dog. And you gain an appreciation for it. Yeah, it's not in the woods. It doesn't have to be in the woods. That dog is still working and it's still doing its job, and it's doing a phenomenal job at its job. So you can have, you know, and when you see that firsthand, you get an appreciation for what those dogs are capable of doing.
See, that's because that's where most of us come from.
I mean, 90% of the talk at bay competition is about woods hunting. We don't sit there and talk about bay dogs. We sit there and talk about woods hunting.
And you take all the guys that are running these pro dogs, and I've noticed, and I'm not, you know, I ain't gonna say no certain names or none of that, because I'm talking about it as a whole. It's like a lot of the guys have these bay dogs because they have businesses and they're extremely busy and they can't hit the woods like they want to. So a lot of them,
still,
you know,
well, that's the reason I got Bob Swayze.
Yeah.
Randy wanted him to be a woods dog, and he was almost a year and a half old when I got him, and Randy said he's been hunted 4 or 5 times.
Like
you know, he just doesn't have the time to get out there and put the work into a dog like the dog deserves and the dog needs.
It takes work, you know. There's some dogs I'm sure, like we were talking about before, anomalies, you know, something of phenom that's like you can take it to the woods, and the first time you take it, the dog takes off, you know, he don't stand by your feet, or second or third time he's finding his own pigs. Yeah, that does happen, but the general deal is you got to work.
Oh yeah,
you got to put in a lot of time. First off, you got to have good stock. You know, you got to have something to work with. Not every dog's going to do that. You know, I've like we were talking about with hounds and stuff. You'll have some that will flat out just get it, and then you'll have some that are like, man, they're not going to make it. It's like that with curs or any dogs.
Well, and I think it comes back to being honest with yourself and giving the dog an honest opportunity to succeed and putting them in positions of success. Mm-hmm. If you constantly put a dog in position of success or a position of capable success, and the dog is incapable of achieving success, then you know you got to move on.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a time and a time limit. Nate, what would you say as far as like, and you've been around this as long as I have, you know, you were just much younger, but like how many dogs you've helped me start a bunch of dogs. You've helped me run a bunch of dogs. Now you have your own dogs that you're working. And like, we're going to see some stuff this weekend, hopefully, out of your little Catahoula pup, Eminem. So, I mean,
and that old Kimmer.
Yeah. So, all right, there's the duality there, or the verses. You've got one that's kicked off, started, wide open, ready to go.
Yeah.
And then you got the other one that's chasing a butterfly, baying armadillo.
He don't know what he wants to do, but he knows he wants to do something.
They're the same age, pretty much, raised together. So, we'll talk on that in just a second. So they see about, you know, how much work.
I mean, so what is the question exactly? Like,
how much work is it?
How much work?
Like we're saying, how much work just to get one started?
And how much opportunity do you?
I mean,
are you going to drop him right here in the middle of the interstate?
No. I mean, just to say, okay, I need to put these puppies on tracks. Well, first off, I'm going to show them a pig. So, I mean, start showing them a pig, 3 months old, something like that, in some shape or form, wherever it be, at a bay pen, one that we just caught in the woods, and just bring him along. It's like, hey, we got him. You know, before we kill this son of a gun, show him. See what he does. Just acclimate him to a lot of those scenarios. And, you know, you probably do that, I'd say, between 6 and a dozen times minimum for the next 3 months till they're 6 months old. And then you're putting a handle on your dog, and that really just depends on what you want your dog to do. You need to have an end goal in mind of what the dog should be capable of, and try and have a handle to help you and the dog work together to get to that end goal. Now, like you said, you have to have good stock. So if I know I want a bay dog, I'm not going to go get an American Pit Bull Terrier. That's retarded.
Yep.
Don't do that. You're not going to meet your end goal.
Hey, but my great grandpa had an American Pit Bull Terrier that made a 10 in 1980.
Yeah, your great grandpa's probably dead, so it don't count.
And that's an anomaly dog.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
because they're there. Those dogs. There's some that'll do it.
Oh yeah,
but
I've seen them. I've seen a Pit Bull bay, and then I've seen somebody say, "Get him and catch," but that's one. I've seen one.
Right.
You know,
you're going to look for something that has consistency throughout the breed, and a line that has consistency throughout the breed. You're not looking for the anomaly just because
that's
of the
what everybody's
preconceived.
chasing.
You will have a better.
That's where there's messing up.
You will have a better reputation as a dog handler producing consistent dogs than having one anomaly and a few okay ones.
That's profound right there, brother.
And so I would say just that alone. I mean, you're talking just working on handle and setting them up for success, going and baiting, going and scouting 2 to 10 hours a week. Really, what you want to put in it, and And that's shortened down just because I'm doing 2 dogs at the same time.
That's where we're at, though. That's also our geographic location.
Yeah.
So when y'all talk about when we talk about handle, where is the? Do y'all try and focus more on handle before you get to the woods, or handle in the woods, or a little of both, or more of one and a little bit of the other?
Yeah. Me and him are totally opposite.
He does in the woods. I do before the woods.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I think that
both works.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
and in the woods we all do it.
Right.
We try to combine it.
Yeah.
Here's why. He's telling you exactly why I personally don't do all that shit myself. All right. So after this many years and years and years of doing it, Nate's talking about putting in 2 to 10 hours every week for a couple dogs. That's just to get them set up, and that's for where we live at, because we can't have live hogs and we can't train like that.
Right.
So it's a little different, and that going to continue on.
And so I mean, then you, like I said, I also want them on tone broke, shot broke. I don't want them barking in the box. So I mean,
as far as tone broke, shock broke, do you do that in the woods or do you do that at home?
As soon as I realize spatting them with a hat is not being effective, whatever age that is.
So at home, is what I'm saying.
And at home, and not in the woods.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people make a mistake of doing it in the woods, and at that point, you're taking away from the dogs. The dogs have a natural correlation to the woods. They understand when they're at the house that they're not hunting.
Yeah.
So
but you can still ingrain certain attributes.
You can hurt. You can take away everything that you've done
because you do it in the woods.
All right. Well, I do it in the woods because, like he just said, he wants some tone broke, shock broke. He wants to load up, unload. He starts showing him a pig, at 3 months, and then does it, works it through there, and you got all these hours in, and he's got one back here that was you didn't have to do a damn thing to. All you needed to do was turn him loose. Some bitch you go hunt.
Yeah.
The other one is a lunatic. Okay, so you still had a 50-50 shot.
Oh yeah.
And
I enjoy the process.
But those are his. These are a multi-purpose dog.
Right.
Me, I take the dog because all I don't have multi-purpose dogs. I'm just going to have just for one thing for hogs.
Right.
When that dog is 6 or 8 or 10 months old, when it shows me the mental maturity that I'm looking for, I take it hunting. I take them by themselves. I don't put them with an older dog. I don't put them with lead dogs or none of that.
Right.
And then I see what they're doing. If I can put time into that dog, then, I say, hey, this one's doing good. This one's not. This one. All right, that's one time. Then I'll take them to the woods. I'll start hauling them. Basically, I'm teaching them as I go because these are the ones that I'm hauling now.
Right.
So that means these dogs
are
going to...
So it's a progressive thing. You don't try and do it all
exactly.
at once.
And then when that dog finds that hog, within 2 hunts, load up, that's my hog, don't touch him, get your ass out there and go again. The training's done.
Right.
I don't need that real personal relationship with him. He's my stock.
Right.
And the reason is because it's time to pass all this to Nate for him to do the way he wants to do it.
Right.
And stuff. And I just have a few that I'm going to do the way I want to do it.
Right.
And which I
And
would
they all
say,
work.
I like the
But-
way you train because the mental markers and the natural instinct markers and those attributes that we're looking for are easier picked out, and they're not influenced and biased by anything that I've done or that you've done.
All
It's
summer
like
long,
this-
I haven't even took, since we came out there and hunted in Georgia, I ain't took none of the old dogs out.
Right.
I think we took Matt one time. The rest of the dogs, we've carried a run and catch dog, Hank.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Well,
there's no other dogs. They
and-
have to go, the puppies have to find it. They have to do it
And
all.
which one thing I
you take
was
the crutch away from them,
And
but
yes.
you put them in a position of success.
Exactly. All right. So we put them where the hog, like you said, that's where that grinding and putting your time in. Eminem, the first hog he truly found, first decent hog, I mean, was a couple 100 pounds, had nice teeth on it. You know, he found it by himself.
Right.
That's what we're looking for.
Right.
All right. The first time that we carried him, I had dogs that would smoke a hog in the box. I said, do not turn him loose.
Yeah.
You turn him
Make
loose
him do
by himself, no other help. Hey, he took that track. He went right at 400 yards, started baying, had the whole sounder bayed. They broke. He done it again, broke, done it again, broke, done it again, broke. For 2.5 miles in 2.5 hours.
Right.
This dog done it. He finally quit and came back. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, it was like he just finally
He
got
was
his ass whooped.
9 months old when he did that.
Yeah, eight and a half, 9 months old. And now, knock on wood,
Yeah.
every single time we take that dog, if there is a hog, he's going to be the first one to face. I mean, like he's smoking the grown dog,
Right.
our older dogs. And then I've got a couple little yellow dogs I've been messing with. I've only carried them out. One of them I've carried twice, and the other ones I carried the first time the other day. Dude, they're ready to go.
Right.
But I waited, and that's a hard thing to do.
Well, and you take away the crutch when they're young, and you make
Yes.
them be independent, and you make them you make them work.
But if I let that ego fucking jump out on me, and I hit that button on them because I'm pissed off or I'm
Yeah.
being a dumbass, I ruin everything just like that.
Right.
That's why nobody
Yeah.
needs to do it in the woods
Right.
unless you've really
Yeah.
been doing it.
Because
Right.
it can totally freak a dog out. And if that
Oh,
dog don't
yeah.
understand where the shock's coming
I
from,
Well,
done
I
it-
mean, the
I done
coral-
it year
the-
before last with that little hound pup. Like
The-
I literally I got aggravated. I let it get the best of me, and I shocked that dog, and I should have never done that.
Well, and the thing to me is at that point, the dog's correlation is if I'm in the woods,
I'm getting in
I'm
trouble
doing
for this.
something wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm
If-
saying.
if,
Now he's getting
you
in
know,
trouble for what he
Right.
is being praised to do.
Right. What
It-
you wanted to do.
Exactly. That's
You
why I
know?
said there is when I say
It is a ultra fine line.
yes, I don't use, and I know it sounds crazy, but I won't hardly shock a dog at all,
No.
ever. And now once he's
Once
3
he-
or 4 years
and
old,
mentally mature
he
enough.
acts up, starts acting up. Yes, sir. You gonna get it.
Yeah.
You gonna get it.
and like when I was talking about like putting the shot collar on as soon as the head's not working, I'm also not talking about putting on high setting all the way on 6. I'm
Yeah.
talking about putting it on like 1 or 2. It's vibrating.
Yeah.
It scares
Act
them.
right.
It scares them more than anything.
Well, you gotta have it. You gotta have a handle on it.
And like the biggest thing, the hardest thing I've had to, and it's still not 100% corrected, is Louis, my Kimmerker, barking in the box. That son
Brother,
of a
when
bitch.
you figure that out, because I got one too.
He's young and he stays excited. There's some ways that you can do it. One is weed eater string.
And just yank them.
Yes, run it through the glass, and it will. I'm sorry, but it will. It'll work. Or like, a long tether of some kind. There, like I said, I know some guys that they allow the dogs to do that when they're hunting.
Right.
They got other dogs out running. And these dogs are barking, running a hog, or they've got one bayed. The ones in the box are going ape shit. They're going crazy. Oh, that's just a high drive dog.
As
No.
soon as that hog breaks, those dogs will turn and come back.
Yep.
one thing,
Yep.
one thing,
If they don't quit and come back.
and I would
And I've
say
seen that.
that Louis only barks in the box now if he sees us and like, oh, we've left or something like that, like you said, or if he gets wound up. But like as far as like, oh, he's just sitting on the truck and everybody's calm, cool, and collective, he don't really do it anymore. But what I did is, so I would bring them to the store with me, and the truck was parked on the other side of the wall of the store, and I would just have a collar on him and just let him sit in the dog box with food and water. And hell, he'd get bored and start barking as a puppy, and I'd tone him. If he kept barking, I'd chalk him and then just work my way up until he quit barking. And he eventually got it.
I think the biggest observation that I have is that it has to be progressive and it has to be planned out. If it's not progressive and you try to do it all at once, you have a very good chance of ruining something that could be very good.
Yeah, and this is also doing this. I don't know how many times I did that, really.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. That's just your method. You don't have to defend nothing you do. That's
no. I was saying.
Everybody else, you do it your dog.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying. I'm sorry, but he just loves barking in the box.
Exactly. They do. Well, shit, look at Tyson. Tyson, he was going to scream it.
Champ's the same way. I mean, I can't leave him in the box.
You could do whatever you want to, and he's not this dog. I'm talking about. He ain't gonna stop.
Yeah,
he'll stop for a minute, but he just wants to go.
Yeah,
and it is like you said. Oh, that's that high prey drive stuff. Yes, it is. But it's also because there was never any initiative taken to say no, don't do that.
Right.
That you can keep it to a minimum.
Oh yeah. You know, there's a difference between whining and going crazy and barking.
How many guys that you've hunted with and how many people listening right now could tell you there's usually somebody at the truck or the buggy keeping them dogs quiet while the other ones are hunting.
Yep.
It's because they're dogs, man.
Yeah, they want to go.
Yeah, they want to go. It's... Like I said, the amount of time you put into them, that's going to determine a lot of it. Some dogs, it don't matter how much time you put, they
don't give a shit.
They don't care.
Do it. And then there are some dogs you don't have to put any time into them.
Like I was talking about with Nate's pup, Eminem.
He never really barked in the box. Nope. He'll whine like hell.
But I'm talking about like hunting wise. I'm talking about putting in time, total time. You just turned him loose, he was ready to go.
Oh yeah, he knew what was up.
But not all of them are like that, Like he's,
no, I mean, and that's a very small minority. I mean, you have
he's a bay pen dog. That's a Matador Mercy pup from Mr. Gene Reynolds, and that's what I told Gene. I said, Lord, if they hunt like that, gonna sign me up for 2 out of the next leg.
Well, Gene kept most of them for woods dogs.
Yeah, I mean they're good woods dogs.
Well, I mean that goes back to
the stock.
A lot of things. A lot of people don't understand that these bay pen dogs are simply doing the job that they've been given to do.
Mm-hmm.
Could they work in the woods? Absolutely. Would every single one of them work in the woods? No. But
that doesn't happen with woods dog stock.
Right. I mean, that doesn't happen in something that
that's anything.
You are breeding specifically for the woods.
And that's one thing I think I told you about at the last event. It might have been in the Memorial Day or something like that. My dad and I were talking. And that's one thing that we were like, I think that should be the foundation of any dog we're going to put in the pen is it must hunt first. You don't get to be a bay pen dog until you show me you can hunt.
Well, I mean, y'all know how my stuff is.
Yeah.
If it's on my yard, it's hunting.
Well, see, that's like the 2 knuckleheads I've been hauling around for Miss Joy. I sat there and I was like, I'm going to take it to the woods. I carried Junior out but the weekend before that, we had just won the 1 dog amateur, or split it with Hoss, that dog Hoss. And so I was like, well, he's done won something, and he done been to the bay off several times. I said, I don't want to get him hurt or wrecked right now. So it kind of left him out of that situation.
Right.
Because he was already doing it. He won a few dollars here and there. Not no damn, big 6-figure dogs or none of that by no means, but we won quite a few $1,000s in the past year and a half, 2 years or so.
Right.
And so when they're producing like that and they're doing their job, like me and Nate were talking about, we want all of them to do all of it, but we're going to keep that to what we produce.
Right.
That's Mr. Lanier's dogs. All I'm doing is handling them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's his stuff.
Yes.
Because I mean,
He put the handle on them.
Yes, them dogs are. All we did was start feeding them and hauling
We're
them
just
around.
keeping it up, basically, to the best of our ability.
Trying to do right by them.
Well, and I think
people need to realize stuff like that too. Like if I take those two dogs, I got 2 males back there, and I find a female. Say I got a female from you, and I breed that male to that female. I'm starting my personal line.
Right.
I'm not taking your line of dogs.
The outcross is what personalizes it.
Exactly. I'm not taking your line of dogs and saying it's mine. I'm going to take these 2 dogs and put them together and see how that works. And once it does, then I'm going to start my own line. The bulldog world is notorious for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it just, and a lot of people, they can't pick that shit apart. They get that ego.
We've talked about the ego a lot today.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that Carter and I were talking about earlier. Your ego biases and warps and distorts it, and the egos of other people does as well. And all these thoughts and emotions. It's very simple, but it gets so muddled through the process in everything, in all aspects of life, and especially when it comes to money and dogs.
The thing about what we were talking about, like the methods of me training more in the woods, is because I do less training.
Right.
Also, I don't want to spend a lot of time and effort on a dog that I don't know if he's going to make it or
Right.
not.
Because it's heartbreaking.
It is. When you put that much time into a dog and then it just won't do it. Hey, that son of a gun will sit. It will come to you. He won't bark in the box. It will load up. It will unload. It will do everything except what a hog dog does.
And at that point, you are emotionally attached to the dog. Because
I don't have that.
You put that amount of time, so you feel like I've invested this much time.
I'm keeping this dog.
Right.
And I'm going to work. It's going to do it.
We all know a guy that has some dogs, and he tries to will them into being something they're not.
Exactly.
And they're house pets.
You have to let them go. And I caught myself a couple years ago, man, and I was like, well, I'm going to let these dogs, I'm giving them more and more time. And it was like, no, I'm giving myself time.
Right.
That's all it is. I ain't fooling nobody but me.
Right.
Or, it's like, dude, get over it. I took a 12-week-old puppy and put in there and was out baying a 12-month-old.
Yeah.
And I literally stopped and I said, I don't know why in the world I would even do this, but we're human. And so after that, I said, I'm going to change some things up. And I always try to train some in the woods. I'm always trying to teach the dogs whatever I can,
right.
if they need it. Some of them, like we've had some dogs, man, that catch a hog, and by the time we get it dispatched and took care of, they sit down over here. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yep.
There wasn't no shooing them off of it or getting them and starting them walking them that way to try to help them get the relay stuff. To me, I think it's going to be 2.5 to 3 year old dog before it really starts putting that on there. I don't know who that is. My phone goes crazy. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, it like we talked about, it just comes back to being honest with yourself and honest about what your goals are with the dog. If you want to have a very good pack of dogs, you have to be very honest with yourself and your practices and what you're doing to create that. And also, I think it has to be, said, we talked about it earlier, being honest with what a dog can be. If you have a dog that specializes in rigging, or a dog that specializes in walk hunting, or a dog that specializes in casting, don't try and make a dog something that it's not.
Exactly.
You can use all of those different things, but I'll tell you right now, if I'm going with somebody that's got dogs that free cast and just get out there and go hunt, I'm going to take one dog. And I know what dog it is, and it's going to be the same dog every time. I'm not going to take my other dog that's really good at rigging. He needs to hunt. Yeah. I'm not going to take him with dogs that he's not going to perform well with.
And one thing that Dad and I have been trying to do is, like you said, you can't have a dog that do everything. We don't really rig hunt. That's not something we do. Like if one of our dogs starts freaking out and it's like, I think they're winding, rigging one, whatever you want to call it. Hell yeah, we'll drop one on it. But outside of that, we do some road hunting, some walk hunting, and some cast hunting. It really just depends who, what, when, where, and why. What the goal of the hunt is, where we're at, and all that stuff. And so one thing that we both have noticed and talked about is that most dogs that will walk hunt will road hunt well.
Yep.
But if you start them doing either one of those before you start doing casting, you'll
Right.
probably never get them to cast. You can take a dog or a young dog or whatever, and you're starting to get it to cast, and sometimes they will walk and road hunt as well.
Right.
But that's also hunting them in these multiple scenarios throughout one hunt multiple times
Also,
a week.
what type of dog you have, what
and
breed.
like I said,
Because a
you gotta have your
hound's
stock.
gonna be something totally different.
I'm referring to Catahoulas and
Yeah,
cur
yeah,
dogs.
everything that we're doing is more. Because I did, more terrier stuff for years, and you don't have to do shit.
It's
Just
like
turn them loose.
Eminem casts pretty good, I'd say for sure. He's got good bottom.
What the fuck you talking about? Like, pretty good. 0 sign, no track, by himself, 0.69, then struck.
He casts good. The
Okay,
dog casts
you got
good.
to give him some credit. At 10 months old, that's what he done at 10 months old. When a dog's going 3/4 of a mile,
How much you want for him?
it strikes a track. You know
I
what
don't
I'm saying?
want much more from a dog. It's too much after that.
Well,
I'm very
I was
pleased.
asking about monetary value. I'd like
Yeah.
to purchase
Well,
this M&M.
And the thing about it is, like, we bred him to another
He'd bite
dog.
the shit out of you.
Yeah, you would. You already tried.
Yeah. and that's that personal relationship
Right.
there.
Yeah.
And me, like, none of my dogs are gonna bite anybody over me because they don't even like me. They'll bite me first. But it's, and I've caught some flack from a few guys that are like, man, you need to get this dog doing this, this, and this. I'm like, look, I'll pick my dog up and put him in the box. He don't have to load up. If he goes and does what I want him to do, I'll load him up.
Yeah.
Well,
It's my dog.
It's one of those things where
But especially like you were saying, don't take 10 damn rig dogs.
to go hunt, of course you're going to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
You're going to be embarrassed because your dogs aren't. That's not what they're good at.
Exactly.
That's not what they do.
That's a good subject right there. I mean,
Yeah.
literally it is, because there's so many people. The more I think about it, it's like, and I've done it, and me and Rodney's got cast dogs. I had all rough dogs, and we were trying to work them together.
Right.
And it took us a while to find out. But at that time, I had rougher dogs that would cast a long, long way.
Yeah.
And then I had some of my older stock. They would go however far it needed. I had big properties at the time when I was
Right.
training them or hunting them.
Times there was a lot of hogs, and times there was
and
none.
then now, in the past few years, all the properties are timber companies sold off, and they're 800 or 1,000,
Right.
maybe 2,000 acres is a big spot.
Yeah.
And used to, I wouldn't even dump on 2,000. I was like, dude, I got to have a block. I got to
Right.
have a 10,000 block. And now it's like, and that's where that whole thing comes in about the cast dogs and all that. I don't even need one that'll cast but 600-700 yards. Hell, that's plenty.
Well, and my thing is,
But I damn sure ain't gonna take a dog that won't
no.
fit the pack that we're hunting.
Yeah.
And my thing is like with the cast dogs, I have one dog that'll cast consistently, and if she runs half a mile and hadn't struck a hog yet, or struck something where she's actually running a track,
She needs to come on back.
then
Just
she
go
needs to
again.
come on back. We'll go cast somewhere else. The hogs aren't there.
Yeah.
If I needed a 2-mile dog, I guarantee you I would have a 2-mile dog.
And that's one thing I like about my dog Louie, is that when I cast him, now Louie might only go 300 to 500 yards when you're casting. A lot of people are like, oh, well, that ain't even a cast or whatever. But I know he's going to make that loop, and he's going to do it. There's not going to be one thing he did not cover within that cast.
That's one thing I'll say about it. And I like that from the Kimmer and the Mountain Cur stuff, how hard they hunt. Some of them will stretch out, but
Yeah, he went like 650 yards on a cast the other day, and I was like, what is Louie doing? I think he might be running one.
yeah, that's all off squirrel dog stock.
Yeah.
Right.
Most of them ain't going but a couple hundred
Yeah,
yards.
he's
Right.
a tree dog.
So,
Supposed to be.
But like I said, I went hunting with guys, and we would all bring dogs, bring whatever you want, man. And me sitting there knowing what they're hunting, and then them fools, they know what I hunt. If they're coming with me, they bring something totally different. Well, I ain't hunted him. He needs to be hunted. And that's all well and good.
And you're putting him in a position to fail, and you're putting yourself in a position to be mad that he fails.
Because either the dogs aren't going to hunt together, or it's going to change up your dog, or my dog's going to get in a bad spot and lift out to dry. You know,
Well, we've had people
all
come
kinds
in
of stuff.
and they've got good properties, hogs everywhere, and they got some hot nose, but they don't even know what they got really.
Right.
So they're used to pulling up, dumping out. Dogs go a couple hundred yards, bam, they're gone. They stretch out, they set them down, done. Can't do that where I'm at, and at the time. So they had to bring their dogs, and once they got to a few hundred yards, our dogs then kept on going. Well, they don't know why their dogs wasn't going. Their dogs coming back.
Right.
Well, they're getting mad. I'm like, well, there ain't no tracks, no sign, nothing. We might be having to slip across the creek over here or something,
Right.
to get to them. And they're not understanding that part. Like you said, that ego jumps out. They get all aggravated and frustrated at this dog. They'll go to whooping that dog's ass, shocking that dog, or doing something crazy. And you're like, look, man.
Why are you acting stupid? He ain't acting stupid. He's acting.
He don't
like
never do this.
He's acting like he acts every single time you take him to the woods. Now, occasionally do dogs act stupid? Yeah, dogs act stupid sometimes.
Him and Louie in a bag
But the
of
majority of the time, it's not the dog acting stupid. It's you acting stupid. And the dog's doing what it knows to do. It's conditioned to hunt in a certain way. Does that mean it's not capable of being a free cast dog? No. But is it a free cast dog? No. So don't take it with free cast dogs and put yourself in a position to fail.
100%.
Don't put the dog in a position to fail.
Oh, without a doubt. Because, like I said, it's just, I don't know, man. There's so many new, I ain't gonna say new, but whatever. We got social media, we got all these things, and
Oh, just call us out, why don't you?
there's trying to make money off the sport.
How dare you try and make money off of something you love to do?
Yeah, I wish I could make some money off of it.
I wish I could too.
But they're doing this stuff that we're doing, these podcasts, videos, different things like that. We're not harping on nobody, and we're not trying to pick on nobody. So if you see what we're saying and it offends you, or if you take it a little personal, hey, stop, take a breath, back up, and just revamp what we said.
It's your choice to be offended.
And you'll be the guy you'll be sitting there saying, damn, I'm the guy that's bringing the dog that don't fit in.
Right.
So all you got to do is just change that part.
Well, and the reason, some people think we might be beating on the reason that we're talking about this is because we have done it. Mm-hmm. We've already seen it.
Oh, yeah.
We've done it
this
in our
is
own,
firsthand.
and we're talking to ourselves as much as we're talking to anybody else.
Oh,
and
without a doubt.
we've already worked through all of these issues, and it's just something that,
And like you was talking about coming to the bay pens, and like 90% of it is woods talk. How many conversations is somebody complaining about a topic we just discussed?
Oh, I mean,
that's most of them.
This dog won't do this. This dog won't do that.
So,
this dog won't do this.
He brought out open hand when I got silent cur dogs or whatever the hell it is.
Now that's a big deal there. It's guys, look out there listening. You can't be mad at me or the next guy that runs silent dogs if we don't want to hunt with open dogs.
Right.
I'm not saying the silent dog is better than the open dog. I'm not saying that. You can catch hogs with any of them. But my silent dogs, if they're over here hunting at, 300 or 400 yards or 800 yards or whatever, and your dog over here starts coat trailing a little bit, my dog starts easing towards him, and your dog bumps a couple times, gets loud, my dog's right to him.
Because they've been conditioned to know that
they're
when a dog
honoring
barks,
another dog.
they're honoring. And what you do when you continue to put them in that situation, then you put the dogs in a situation where they don't honor base.
They
and they're
won't
not
honor
helping.
Boy, who cried wolf. They're like, he's barking for no damn reason.
I've had dogs actually do that. We were hunting and the guy had a red bone, and the old dog he didn't have him long, and he wanted the dog to be something that it wasn't. He drops that dog. it don't even hit the ground. It starts balling. I mean, and my dogs were already out. His dog goes in there about 100 yards. Here come all mine. I was like, dang, man. So they done that again. We picked him up, reset him. And I told him, I said, I just don't think it's going to work. Well, we turned his dog loose by itself. He gets in there and it starts hammering. I was like, he's got to be getting bayed, but he was moving a little bit. I said, well, he might be walking one, you know. Mine kick out. They go straight in there. They go over there. They stay there for a minute. They take off. And he kept saying, well, he's got a hog. I said, he ain't got a hog. I said, I don't know what he's doing, but he ain't got a hog. We done that, and the third time, he had a hog. The third time, my dog would not go. They went about halfway. They wound up going, but they went about halfway and started coming back. I had to walk toward him.
Right.
And send them.
Right.
And I've never had to do that. And I was like, they done covered him twice.
Right.
And wasn't nothing there.
Yeah, and it
So-
was ghost.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I don't blame them. So that's one reason why the whole silent versus open dog deal and people hunting together with them. I don't know if you could. I imagine you could.
I think some of the benefits are. I think a lot of the South Georgia boys have start dogs where they'll kick a dog or they'll kick a hog up. They'll dump on a specific track. They'll dump 1 or 2 hounds on it. They'll run him, and then what they try to
They'll
do,
go cut him off.
they'll go try and cut him off. So I think you can utilize the two together and have effectiveness
that
out
would
of it.
work. Yeah, there for sure.
But
If you had a good strike dog,
right, if
Yeah.
you got your strike dog, and then you're just going to go up there and try and cut him off, and then you're going to dump that hot stuff to make him stop.
because and I've seen that happen. The scenario you're talking about, and generally it's an older dog, cold nose,
Right.
and they'll go up there and cut him off, put these young hot dogs on it, let him run, pick him up, put him back on the box. Yeah, it'll work like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
But
as far as turning loose in a
merging the
pack,
two, right?
I don't know, man.
Trying to do I agree. I think I don't think it's
Setting them up for success.
well, it's
Yeah.
necessary.
If anybody does that, let us know.
Yeah.
If y'all hunt like
I'd love
that,
to know.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Because
I'd love to see
I'm
it.
not saying that it won't work.
Right.
I'm never going to say that. I just said I don't see how it will for me.
Right.
But I'd be all about that. That'd be pretty damn cool.
I'm all about it.
Because I know if anything goes to barking, mine need to be going that way.
Right.
And if they don't, then, well, I guess they don't. Because they ain't worth the shit anyway.
Well, I mean, especially when you run rough cur dogs, like it's like we talked about that hog yesterday. Like it took the whole pack to catch him. Ron and I don't carry a catch dog when it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
And a lot of people look down on that. That's just our way. The way we look at it is until one of us has the time to truly train and get a handle on a good catch dog, I don't want a dog that's going to drag me through the woods. I don't want a dog that I have to fight the entire time, because that's taking out of the enjoyment for me. It's selfish reasons. I could go get a catch dog and have a catch dog, but at that point, if I'm dragging it or it's dragging me through the woods and I'm having to fight it the whole time, then I'm pissed off and I don't care that we caught the hog anyway.
Do you have a gun at least?
A
knife, anything? Or sometimes you just raw dogging it on accident?
I mean, most of the time we're just raw dogging, brother. We usually at least carry a gun. We have we'll have a gun, but like the big bar hog we caught, we were 50 feet from them, and all of them were baying. We had 5 dogs on the ground, and all of them were baying, and we were like, this. I ain't so sure about this, but we got about 50 feet and they went quiet, and they had hung him, and a lot of people will say, well, that's a good way to get dogs killed, whatnot, and things like that. But those dogs have hunted together long enough where
they trust each other.
The pack compatibility is there,
and they're not gonna break the hog. Them are bay busting dogs. Those dogs will bay. But when one goes, they all go.
That's all I ask
That's
out of mine.
And
That's the most important thing.
when one goes, it's aiming to catch. It's not just like when we talk about bay busting dogs. I think it's important to make the distinction.
Yeah.
You can have a bay busting dogs if you're running a really rough dog with loose bay dogs, because he's bay busting because he's going in there to try and catch.
He's not committing.
Right.
Well, I ain't gonna say he's not committing,
but he doesn't have enough
He
help.
doesn't have enough ass to stop it,
Right.
or he doesn't have enough help.
Jags are very commonly called bay busters.
Yes.
Right.
Because there's 6 dogs sitting back chopping, and here comes a little black one.
Yeah.
Wham! I'm gonna nail him.
Yeah.
You know.
And that. I used to tell people all the time, they'd ask about the Jags or Patterdales. I was like, don't just get one.
No.
We had success because we hunted a pack of them.
Right.
And
The pack compatibility
yes,
was there.
there was times where they'd all be in their baying. There was times where they'd all be caught. Most of the times they were all caught.
Right.
And it worked out good.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, you can have a dog that you can have a pack of dogs like you've got. If one goes, all go. You can take care of business.
And I think that's important to make that distinction, that you have to. The dog's got to be alike. You might call a dog a bay buster. That's a rough dog. Like Ryan's Pete dog. That he was considered a bay buster for those boys out in Texas because he was so rough, and they ran looser stock. So he didn't have a lot of backup. He'd get there and he'd slam the hog because there were other dogs there. Bust the bay. Put him with another rough dog. Put him with 2 other rough dogs, and we're doing what we want to do. You know, we're aligned now.
That's why we ran forever. We have a couple of bay dogs that's down there baying. When we started hunting with Rodney, that's how we worked it together. So that way we could hunt, because I couldn't hunt my actual cast dogs or my hog dogs.
Right.
I had a couple of them, and they wound up getting killed over the years. But we would take more run and catch dogs, real rough dogs, and with a good nose on them.
Right.
And if Sally went out there and got a track started, and they closed in on it, and it broke, wanted to run, we put one on the ground just to put some heat on it.
Right.
Then we try to get up closer to it, and as soon as we heard anything, dump.
Yeah.
But they went in there and hung it. Now, his dogs would catch with other dogs. So now we went from having 2 rough dogs, and now we got 4 dogs.
Right.
So that, it changed the game. We were stopping a lot of hogs.
Right.
And it worked out really good. But, we still dealt with some of the
I think
comes with it.
a lot of it comes back to alignment of your pack and what you hunt with. You got to have a level of alignment where it can work together
that goes to how good of friends are you.
Right.
He's like, am I going to change my style of dog to hunt with you?
Right.
Or am I not going to hunt with you? That's just.
I think that's a couch.
Yeah, there's a couch.
Wow,
there was a couch back there. Go watch the CD drive. What was it?
I think it's just a box full of junk, actually.
I wonder if there was a boar hog in there.
Probably was. He's coming back. There's a mattress on the truck. I don't know, but we're 9 minutes away from the bay pen, y'all.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're almost there. So we figured we would just try to put together a little episode while we was riding down the road, see how it worked. This is what, the 2nd or 3rd one we've done. We're recorded in the truck. Well, the other 2 was just me and you.
Yeah.
And then I think it works out. It consumes some time.
Oh yeah. No, I hadn't even thought about the last hour of this ride.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
and the thing is we've been talking about this same stuff for the previous 10 hours or 11 hours of this ride.
Well, that's all we talk about.
It's one of those things where now we just had the mic in front of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all listening. Make sure y'all check us out on all social media stuff that we're on. Make sure you check out our buddies over at Boars N Broads. Make sure you check out Justin Becker, Not Normal Adventures.
Borrowed Time Outdoors.
Yeah, Borrowed Time Outdoor. Who else?
Hog Maulers.
Yeah, Hog Maulers.
Flip them and stick them
Yeah,
outdoors.
We can do this all day.
Yeah.
Check out everybody.
Yeah.
You know who you are if we love you.
Support everybody that you can that's in the business. Like I said, once again, we appreciate y'all. We're gonna try to go ahead and do another episode while we're here hanging out. And Nate will get these uploaded and get them out to y'all as quick as he can. So till next time, see ya.
Thank you.